If you're doing webinars, this is a very important one to watch. When you're probably doing it wrong and you're missing out on a very big opportunity, making your webinar much more effective. Webinars on steroids. So what's the deal? So let's use a metaphor. See your webinar as a TV show. So you have a TV show and you have a studio where people fit in. Some studios are bigger than others, but there's a limited capacity when it comes down to the people that you can fit in the studio. So there you are, doing your show, recording it with the audience in the studio. This is how most webinars are given. It is all about the people in the studio. But guess what? Just with TV shows, it's not about the people in the studio. It's about the people at home. It's about the millions of people at home. So this is how you should approach your webinar too. So you should think about how to reuse your webinar and repurpose the content to different channels and different formats so you can make the most of your webinar. So I started, and the clients I serve with the systems we created for this see their webinars right now as a way to record something that they can reuse in very different ways, making a much more bigger impact than doing the TV show only for the audience in the studio at that moment, reaching a much larger audience with a much bigger impact. Tailoring the content created from the webinar for the different channels, increasing their impact. So content repurposing really is your golden ticket to increasing the effectivity of your webinar. One of the things which is very important, you have to record your webinar with the right tool so you can reuse your raw video files and audio files in the best way to repurpose it. So we use tools like Descript, for example, to transcribe and edit the webinar very fast and reuse in different templates the video content. So from, for example, half an hour webinar, we create like 10 to 20 short videos for LinkedIn. And then we use the transcript to create quote videos. So we say, give me the most interesting quotes from the webinar and write a LinkedIn post on that one. And we actually created a nice prompt we can reuse in ChatGPT to do so. So just with the push of one button, and we have a template in Figma to make a visual of that. So within 3 or 4 minutes, we have an extra post. So basically from a webinar from 30 to 60 minutes, you can create for different channels, for your website, for a partner's website, for LinkedIn or any other channel. For YouTube, you can create like 30 or to 50 pieces of content. Imagine that, how big the impact of that could be if you can do that very easily. This is what we do. We systemize the way to repurpose content from a webinar so you can maximize the potential and not only use the potential of the people in the studio, but send it out to all the millions of people out there that can see your content. And the content is to stay out there. And look, you can also reuse the webinar in a webinar replay, right? That's nice, but it's still very long. And who is going to watch it on LinkedIn, for example? So it's much nicer to create short, bite-sized, snackable pieces of the most interesting content, attracting attention, inspiring people to think about it a minute, and putting your brand on a map out there and driving people to action. So that's what it's all about. Utilize all the audience out there, repurpose the content from the webinar, and just see the webinar as a way to create a recording that is your main source of content repurposing and creating a lot of content.